Hope you're all doing well. Just cracking my back because that sure is a feeling. I'm getting Steam booted, and then we'll get right to the game because we are playing Ace Attorney Chronicles Resolve some more today, and starting the last one, the last chapter in this. So we're getting there. Who knows? Maybe like a week or week and a half or so longer, and we'll be done with the whole series. Well, assuming that I don't play the Miles games, Mr. Edgeworth, which I don't really feel a strong urge to play them right now. I think they're only on the DS, I think, and they added the amazing new feature of walking. So you get to walk around as Edgeworth, which does sound moderately fun, honestly. But I think I'm going to need a break from this, and as I've stated in previous streams, I plan on getting back to some other games. Whether it's Call of Cthulhu that I started before. We left our protagonist in that game inside a padded cell, so I figured he's okay there for a while. And I also really want to get back into Final Fantasy 14. So we'll see what happens. But for today, there it is. The final chapter. The resolve of Inosuke Naruhodo. I'm so excited. How cool would it be if all of this was voice acted? Ooh. Slightly different music. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. Oh god, why is she... Are you okay, Susato? Miss Susato? Huh. Oh no! Oh, what's the matter, Miss Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry, of course I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Incompetent? Susato? No. Those two words don't belong in the same sentence at all. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all. Well, that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... Good morning, sir. Lord Von Zieks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says, I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Von Zieks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. You're not to blame for that, Lord Von Zieks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod. To wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes. We've heard that story too. When I lost him. I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors maybe feel his absence a little less keenly. Oh, pensives. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you, Lord Clint von Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Oh, Iris. When did you get here? Oh. Oh, I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh, sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a whole. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Si's laboratory. Alright then, good luck to you both. Have to make a move now? Oh, you're not sane. I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes. Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt doors that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? It looks more like a Hairley to me. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears. As hard as you possibly can. Well, pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. There's something in there. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And, it seems very different to normal. Yes. It would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? Oh, sorry, that's just how I was saying that. What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikotoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning, and apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night, so... They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. Must go inside now, Lord Von Zieks. I like that the music is different so far in this chapter. Like, it's the same motifs and everything, but it's still just lovely. Lord Von Zieks has always been the formidable prosecutor who had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Cosmo Osogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Do 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 do. Alright. It's just good music, honestly. I listen to the soundtrack at work sometimes. It's like 3 hours of solid good music. Alright, so what's going on all the stops for this? It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Mr. Naruto, look! Oh. Lord Strongheart! Cosmo must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Damn. Can he do that? The 6 years flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your alcohols, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Von Zieks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Brock Von Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. Dude, he is dramatic as fuck, holy shit. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Dally Vigil will be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It appeared he had buried his memory to the time deep inside of himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He is formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Osogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday. That the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st November. Dude, look how fucking mad Strongheart is, holy shit. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that a natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movement of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes. Especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Oh, we're not going to get a remix of this theme, though, huh? State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina. Again. What's your problem, Moto? What's with that, Gina? Again, look, eh? The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh. Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right. For the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes. No. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders in this investigation. Investigate what they're told. A little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking at some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, there's witnesses what saw the repo at the place too. Oh really, Gina? Smuggled goods? Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I had dinner with a friend earlier that involved some like very mild mozzarella sticks and a very spicy burger. And it's you know, little bit of indigestion maybe. Anyway, I don't know, do I? Just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that the disposal of a regular black market that takes place in the capital. Really? If it's well known, why isn't it shut down? But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So, Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in a black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority, without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Brock von Zieks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. But von Zieks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord von Zieks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. Don't be so smug. Very well then, counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. God, he's so mad looking. I mean, his name is literally Bad Strongheart, but still. Alright, let's save first. If we don't end this case by, like, accusing the judge of something, I will probably eat a hat. like it just seems very likely that that's going to be the way things go, especially with the fact that, you know, Ski was just like, oh, wait, he knew, right? Hold it! So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? No, not me. Above all that, see? Oh. The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub. That kind of thing. So, errands more than orders then? This detective is still an apprentice after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigation into what happened. I don't find much at first. Hold it! So, you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yeah, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one was about. Well, if anyone at the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have toughed me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and our trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. Found it in one of his desk drawers out of Force Bottom. That's impressive. So I want to arm myself when no one could find me so I could have a pictures of what was in it. Because if anyone at the yard found me out, they'd tough me straight out on the street. I'll give it in now though, ain't it? If it weren't for me, it would have never been found. According to that, the boss was looking at some smuggled good dealings that day. Hold it! Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember. But I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name of these proceedings. Oh, I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could, too. Got this reading game buttoned up now. I'll show you what I can do. Well, what's the arm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? I will insist, but we'll save first. Sorry, I'm just enjoying. Go ahead and insist. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Sorry, I kind of like how, like, very competitive Asogi is with the Strongheart. Just because, like, you know that Strongheart and him were talking, right, before, like, in the other investigation we're doing, and he was like, hey, you make sure you do what we said. And, like, you just know that he's not doing it at all. Cosima. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being destructive. The gears are turning. Right then. Well, I get to show off my reading skills. Oh, she's so happy. Apparently, the smuggled goods they were going up at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Hold it!
Oh, that was a terrible name. The Grouse? What sort of club is that? Oh, I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing, but I'm kind of curious. They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? I tell you what, me and the Chief Inspector Togi could go in undercover. Could you, though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's got to be. That's what the lower ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower ranking detective. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers went on to it yet.
Hold it!
So, how did Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? Well, that's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so. And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself. Because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in that club, no question. You can't say that for certain, though, surely. What matters most is that there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place, too.
Hold it!
I can't imagine Von Zeke's at, like, a stripper club or anything like that. They say gentleman's club, so maybe it is just kind of like there's drinks and cigar smoking and red velvet walls and jazz music and just, like, niceness. That I could see Van Zeke's at. The other kind of gentleman's club, I can't fathom, honestly. Lord Von Zeke's was at the club. He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members reported having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. But we know that Lord Von Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the inspector's secret notebook. Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. None have been identified at this time, no. So, the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Boy, why aren't you asking Inspector Lestradio, eh? So, that's all we've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Von Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he went to the inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Von Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh, if everything Lord Von Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in his testimony somewhere. You mean there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. Okay. So that cool book isn't in my court evidence yet, is it? It's not. Although I do want to examine this real quick. Okay, did she leave a note? Oh, I managed to click on the... Really? Hold up. What a charming little rabbit version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Well, you're right, Mr. Naruhodo. Your eyes are veritably pouring towards here. Oh, sorry. I was just wondering, what do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now? I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you really must learn stoic patience. But I want to know. Okay, so this is going to be something important later. I have to imagine that there's a note or something similar just hidden inside of this. Okay. Wait. Date of departure within 1 week of month. Probably not that. And this thing where we found that, the blood, and inside was the passport, I think. Yeah, inside was the passport. Yeah, okay. What's the date of departure? Right. So, could this have something to do with it, maybe? Because it is for the day before. So, would he have been there? You won't give it to me, huh? Would this grouse thing be important? Do I have any evidence that relates at all to that? The blackbird line. This is just a bow, right? Wait, the SS Grouse? Okay. Oh. Wait. Did he get mixed up somehow? Like, it's not a club, it's a boat? Okay, please, just... have we been through this? The SS Grouse. So it's... that could be a mistake, maybe? And the passport. Okay. I feel like it's gotta be this, because like there can't be that many grouses, right? So, oh, present this? It's either this or the passport, right? This thing doesn't say, this doesn't say the SS Grouse on it though.
Objection!
The music stopped. I think I might be onto something. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here! Yeah, let me see that. This dark-suited young gentleman is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on the 1st of November. The day on which the sounds like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, the 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Here it is.
Take that!
Take that! What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim? Sorry, there was a email subject line I wanted to look at real quick. Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Okay, so someone from France killed him? Order! Order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived in Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecution's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you're expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. No, he was carrying out a mission for Gina. the Reaper. Order! Order. What on earth are you saying, Counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. Oops. Sorry, I just accidentally clicked outside for a second. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Brock Von Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi. Which tells us all that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson? What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Von Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Brock Von Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh? You have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm sure we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade? What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying! Even if all them bludgers were got taken out at it common? The boss wasn't the Reaper? Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing. I don't believe a word of it. Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I don't... I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. What's in it? When is our knowledge about the fact that Gregson wanted to move Gina to France for her safety going to come in handy is my question. Because we know that from the previous chapter. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to the past 10 years. Names of victims, dates of places and stuff. And the last entry in there was the 31st of October. It said Grouse, the place on that date, and the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal that got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. I mean, does it actually have... What's the name of the mark? Is it Vigil? Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established facts here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark, and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information the victim would only have known if he was working with the Reaper. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on the 31st of October. It's either going to be Jigoku or Mikotoba, I bet. How'd you read this, though? Reading's still not my strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Odo? It's a funny name. They're English. Hard to read. So it's someone from overseas. Let me have a bash for it. Seishiro. Yeah, Seishiro. Jigoku? Oh, it can't be. Seishiro Jigoku. But that's just Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection!
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday. He's in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector. Personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Brock von Zieks. It's an undeniably logical argument. I would strongly disagree with that assertion. Sorry. Whenever you see me tilt my head like that, it's because I'm reading something on my phone. Cosmo, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Ooh. Wait, who said that? Oh, Von Zieks said. God, I love you so much, Van Zieks. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. This fucking man. Oh, gosh. I love him so much. Lord Von Zieks. The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. Eh? What? No, that's right. I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself, by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information related to the testimony just given by the witness. Oh, that's some violence right there. Just. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. At once, my lord. So I resisted it, but for a second, I had the urge to attempt to do a SpongeBob voice for him to say that. I don't know why. Just kind of happened, and you know, that's just how it be. Oh god, can you imagine this game with SpongeBob characters? Like, I want Patrick to be the judge, but also Mr. Krabs would work too. Or Plankton. Oh no, Plankton would be Van Zieks. Or Squidward. Squidward would be Van Zieks, because that would work perfectly if Yonosuke was SpongeBob and Squidward was Van Zieks, because then they can have, you know, that, like, you know, the bashing of the heads and grudging respect grow over time. Patrick would not make for a good Susato, though. He would make for a possibly good Shomes, though. That could be fun. Sandy could be Susato. Yeah, it's good. That would be very fun. Anyway. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about excuse me. Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Name of the victims, names and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was 31st October. It said grouse for the place on mark date and the name of the mark. There's no one a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago, man. But honest, boss didn't do none of it. It was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Okay, so this is the same thing, but we now have Van Zieks in the dock, right? Which means that he's probably going to be pursued, I assume. Like he'll say something. So let's go through and press everything again. In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret. Well, that notebook said what he found out. If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations onto the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes. And those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. What? One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could take them on alone. The Reaper is an organization, with you at its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be reference to the gentleman's club, I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone. So that explains why several members of the club claimed to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. The metal trunk that has blood on it, I might mind. Very well then. Back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seem a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this whole time. Oh? What? He's overthinking something? Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just getting irritated by the fact that my bank keeps messaging me, basically, is what those things are. I think they're just like the normal, like, oh, hey, your your credit card statement is available, and all that other shit. One moment, please. So, if you'll forgive the hallowed email checking from my bank statement, so that I might make sure that I've paid my bill this month. I just want to know why it keeps sending me a thing, basically. Because it is quite irritating. That's not what I want. Here it is. Let's see. Next payment date. Oh, no, it's... I paid it for this month. It's really very silly sometimes, Like, I don't know why they feel the need to, be obnoxious and, like, continuously send me things that say, hey, your statement's ready. It's like, I'm good. Thank you. So. Okay. Anyway. I'm good. I'm done with that now. My apologies for the interruption to the stream. But sometimes, like if you get 3 texts from your bank in a row, it's like you're gonna go check it out, right? So anyway, also, can I just say before I get back to reading that the academia website is a fucking plague on inboxes everywhere. Like, holy shit, is it annoying. Like, about a decade ago, I wrote a paper, or like co-authored a paper rather, with a group of people. And for the last like 3 weeks, like every single day, there's been like an email that's like 50% off, 2 days only. Your paper was cited by this random ass fucking name. If you want to know who they were, click this link for 50% off. And it's like, no, I don't give a shit. You dumb fuck. I don't care what someone is doing citing a paper for me like 10 years ago. Fairly certain is not important.
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in particular? Well, besides the victims' names, this little name kept popping up. What other name was that? That's the one I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again. You mean Asa Sheen? Yeah, well, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Asa Sheen. The assassin. What? Like, a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person who actually executed his plan was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Jikoku's life? China, can you confirm that? Against the final entry that this grass in Seishiro Jikoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. What? It just had like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? How infuriating. A nameless assassin. No, I think... See, that reads more like this book is his, like, investigations into it and who he believes, like, did the killing, right? And be like, oh, Asashin did this one, Asashin did this one. The question then becomes, why does he have Jikoku's name written down there, right? Like, is it just who he suspects people will get murdered by the Reaper because they were involved in the cases previously? and he was investigating Jigoku because he was coming back to Britain, so he'd be within the range of the Reaper again. That's the thoughts in my head right now.
Hold it!
And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku? That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court Adjudicator. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. Oh, sorry, wait, I just read that wrong. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. He returned to Japan. Sorry. For some reason, my brain said Britain. Whoops, I just clicked that. 10 years ago? After that fateful case? Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I don't think it was possible, but the looting has got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I know nothing about it. Well, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It's related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course. You're right. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the Professor proceedings, you see. He was acquitted after being told to make a reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No. Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that. Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent. Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But... Right, I've had just about enough of this. Gina. All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Odo. Yes? Why aren't you saying nothing? What? Why aren't you yelling out objection or something? What? You've got to find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please. Or the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. But When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? I've had it with the law of you. It's lies haven't been in place to look in this world, eh? Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean? I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. We're back to the cross-examination music. Well, it was the first one, right?
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Really, Odo? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... Oh boy. By Male Strongheart, right? Because we know that he knows that we don't know that he knows. No, but that he knows, right?
Take that!
Oh, the music's not stopping. There was definitely something strange about it that didn't add up. The inconsistency isn't a statement made by this person.
Objection!
People can only be inconsistent in what they say if they actually testify. But in case you hadn't noticed, the person you're accusing isn't even in the stand. The defense appears unable to respond to that replication. Any further obviously deliberate obstructions to these proceedings would not be tolerated, counsel. Okay, sorry. It will be Gina. Okay. We'll put it down as Gina because she's in the stand. Wait, where is Gina? Oh, there she is. Sorry, her hat made me not.
Take that!
Find it. Of course, by you, Gina. Of course. What's that supposed to mean, eh? Gina, Mr. Naruhodo. Gina is the person giving testimony here, so if there are any inconsistencies, they only have been introduced by her. Not true. I don't know where you're going with this, but maybe the evidence you're obviously about to show the court will clarify. In that case, the defense will present evidence to substantiate this claim. To which piece of evidence does this alleged inconsistency relate? Well, okay, so the first statement is it's about the cops following orders and that kind of thing, right? Aggregate cover there. It's got to be this. I don't suppose now is the time to pull in the bunny ears, is it? Hold on, we'll find out. No. Okay. Not yet. Just want to make sure. I imagine it's gotta be related to this, right? Not this, but like the blood and everything. So why is there a gash on the side of this? I'm not going to read it because we read it out before on our own. But like, how did this happen, right? And then this is blood. I wonder whose blood it is, actually. Can Toby figure out whose blood it is? This is present at the scene when Pettigrew was killed. Actually, why is this here? Because if Gregson wasn't investigating the League, why was the red hairpiece with him? But that would imply that Gregson didn't go on the boat if this had anything to do with anything, right? I really don't know. Pieces alleging consistency relate. I don't know. I don't want to guess, so I'm trying to figure out something here. But what is... Do I have her first testimony in here somewhere? I don't have it because it does go back far enough. Shit. I'm so busy drunk. I don't know. It is? Okay. That's fine. Can it, Okay, is it gonna put me back at the, like, figure out the evidence thing? Okay. Okay, good. That's fine. I want to go look at the testimony real quick. So what is it? This notebook has a lot of stuff about what the rig got up to the pen test. So the notebook...
Hold it!
Right. Gregson was basically acting as the lead there. They've been investing in Rick secret, and then I wish that we found out. Beneficial. He did his own investigation. He is an arm. There's an organization. Spies at the yard. He knew where the book was. Okay, so it's this bit. Shown by the passport found in the victim's trunk. So, is that an inconsistency in Ben Zeke's statement? That he was going to one of the grouses, but didn't know which one? That's shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Wait, how does... Was the metal trunk known about? Like, Gina found it, right? Who else knew about the trunk? So it's Cosma who knows things. Right? Where's Cosma? Oh, there he is. Jeez.
Take that!
By you, Cosma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well then, Counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi has said? This.
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain. And a relatively fresh one, too. What? You mean that ain't Grace from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There's no mention of a trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it, me, with me nose trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Well, Cosmo could have been the reaper, could he? And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Cosmo. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship dock on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Cosima. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Rinosuke? Cosima, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Cosima was there on the ship, then it could only have been for one purpose. No, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Rinosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. Is it the slash mark? Is the slash mark from his sword? As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proven nothing. Cosmo. Are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector. He was there, with Gregson. There's a clue that you've overlooked. A secret that trunk could tell us. Can't be sure at this point. I need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Professor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? This. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Got it!
This is your proof. What do you say to that, Professor Osogi? Personally, I think tying the defense counsel to the inspector's trunk and tossing it to the sea would be more helpful. What? At least that way, London's courtrooms will be safe from his destructive accusations. I believe that's a rather long-winded way of telling you that you're wrong, Mr. Naruhodo. Very well, then let us see if you sink or swim under the weight of this penalty, counsel. Mr. Naruhodo, you can't allow yourself to be drowned at sea yet. I was hoping never to let that happen, funnily enough. I would prefer if my health bar stayed at the top. So not the gash. Could it be the blood? And then Toby sniffs it and then finds Cosmo maybe? Isn't that... Is he the one additional? That doesn't say... That wouldn't prove anything though, right? One additional person to travel. Cosmo. Well, like, how do we prove that? It doesn't really make sense. Because it could have been anyone, right? We could have said, oh, it's Gregson or something. Or sorry, it's Gina. But couldn't we test the blood to see if it's his? Okay, I'll present the passport. I don't really understand how it could possibly... Yeah, no, it's the blood. Okay. So, are we gonna Toby it up? Is that what's about to happen?
Got it!
Okay, I'm very confused. Those are the three things. Those are the three things that one can see about this. Okay, hold on. What about the other side of the gash? Is there anything that ties it together there? Ah, I see. Okay, hold on. There's a chip of his sword in it. That's what it is. Hold on.
Got it!
Present just to get back out to this area so I can reload. That way we can skip all the dialogue and everything. Okay. So we need to open it. So it's not the gash, it's the metal stuck inside. I have to make sure that I actually like select the right thing. There. Right there. Let's see what Susato has to say about it. Do you see that? There's something stuck on the side of the top there. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. But it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. You better leave it, I think.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here. Like the tip of a blade. A blade? Cosma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it, here in this courtroom, for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff! Watch Prosecutor Osogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh no. The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Cosmo Asogi. Expertly done, Yunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes. On the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So, the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jikoku. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes. And I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it. We can believe Cosmo-sama. I'm sure. After all, Judge Jikoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We travelled to Dover, from where we crossed the Channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jikoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It'll be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. And I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. How about that? That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder. But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case, and accordingly, I chose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. The great sword Karama. We must take immediate action now to verify whether Seishiro Jikoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. No. Wrong. Wrong. Oh, shoot. So, okay. Davkin, if you're still here, hello. I'm sorry that I missed your chat 25 minutes ago. I have, I've changed my setup slightly. I have my Steam chat, my stream chat, sorry, next to the game today on the same window as opposed to having it over on the other window, so I don't have to keep looking over to it, towards it. And when I accidentally click out of the game, I click on my browser, which is not the same browser that the chat room is in, which then gets put behind. So, sorry about that. Anyway, is that right, Lord Von Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd been able to tell you. Set the chalice out. Order! Order in the court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. No. Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organization's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh, no, not Jigoku. No one wants to kill a harmless Japanese man who only just arrived in the country. Except that is for the Reaper wanting to finish off a mark that slipped the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake. My lord. I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Yeah, but if you're the killer, then what? Wait, was that the chalice left on the prosecutor's side? Kamasuma, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Cosmo isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were carrying towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course. The little Mr. Shomsdor that Iris gave us. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? I mean, yes. Here goes then. Going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. Looking back. Ow! That scream sounded like Mr. Shums. Mr. Shums, where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here. It's the front door talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Shums, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night, after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France. Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the streets of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station, by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? But the steamship was where everything really took place. Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Holmes, world-famous great detective. Recited to perfection. Well done. Oh, genius, Mr. Shelves. That's the only word for it. Mr. Sato, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh, I'm so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was in fact... Oh, sorry, it's Mikotoba talking now. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. That's what we had yesterday when we examined that notebook, and I recalled my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert the fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please. For precisely that purpose that my partner and I made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making the receiver awkward in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. Thus I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes. We have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprisingly amount of sense. So, let us begin. Are we going to do a deduction in the middle of the court? Oh, hey, we know you. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to plead plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Sorry, this is not Mikotoba's voice that I was doing before. Sorry, let me like try to reset my voice. Also, I really enjoy this lovely movie. Movie? Music. What am I saying? Why you all loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? Well, the question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor? Chicken stroganoff when you see... Oh, here's Sholmes written on his arm. Great detective. I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me. Is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, while such adoration is flattering naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My lower devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself. He's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jikoku. There is no one with this name on board. But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Da, you mean Eastern man? He left ship 2 hours ago. He had Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? Substantia has realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. Would you like to investigate, please? No! I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined! And you've only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot go inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock. Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, my old friend, you're typically commodity matter. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man! So, the game is afoot. We're playing as Mikotoba. It's kind of cool. I do like it when they say like something special for the last chapter. What the hell is this thing? This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow. I'll leave it alone for a second. No, I think not. It never works, surely. I need to concoct another distraction. What's this? Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewman wouldn't be able to see what we were doing. Do it! Let's flick the switch. What is happening? Where is light? Now, Sholmes, now! Nobody there. That was a close shave. What a knack you have, something so violently in an apparently empty order. To be quiet, Sholmes. I'll try to think of another approach. So not that. Can I go into the other one? Empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier, though I confess I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Listen, what strike you though, Mikotoba? Why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin, when both are apparently vacant? I don't know how... Why is this checked off? Oh, because I've looked at it before. I mean, this would certainly be a distraction. The whole crew would know about it. Leave it alone. No, I think it's not. No, surely. Can I just throw you? He's like a Neo-Temple Guardian statue, this fellow. The way he's glaring us so fiercely. Tell me, why are you standing guard here if the cabin's all occupied? Because this area is only for first-class passengers. We must look out for suspicious criminals. He stared at me when he said that. My dear fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go. But still criminals. No, for goodness sake, Sholmes, tell the man, we're neither suspicious nor criminals. Ah, yes, quite right, Mikotoba. Gases, the seaman is far too able for his own good. Be extremely careful of what you say. One of us ought to be, yes. Alright, let me try the trap somehow. I don't know how this will work, but I'm going to do everything before I pull this bell. Choo-choo! That sounds like Big Mouse and Trap. Choo-choo! I will bring a bucket of water later and put out a misery. I don't like the sound of that. In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese might make a chew sound. Really, Sholmes. And pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make? PP, naturally. They're also quite unconvincingly accurately in it. So go ahead, Mikotoba, do a PP this time. No, thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution. Alright, bell it is. Press the red button. There it goes then. Pardon me in advance. You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be a very big, bad problem. What's going on down there? Seamen strong enough, report at once. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was a stupid trick. No, not by me by word. No, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now. Done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Don't just stand there gulping up my brilliance, Mikotoba. In we go! Oh, yes. Oh, we're not going to have much time in here, are we? Well, there's something missing off this, isn't there? And something stuffed into this. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there. They're Seishiro's, without question. It seems you're just literally late. Yes. By about 2 hours. Still, whilst we are here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may be well 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. But that belly criminal may return at any moment, Holmes. Indeed he may. Which makes this all the more thrilling. Okay, what's up with this? There's a speaking to me. Look. That's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the criminal on the bridge aren't annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. It's really become a favourite case of yours, hasn't it? Sure. Can we check to see if there's anyone in here? According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was. It was a similar size to this one. You must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. Whatever for? It was the sight of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. It's only take a moment. Really, Shams. Surely you can just tell me what you said. Well, I did some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think we'll just read about it in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Anything in this? This is the wastepaper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside. Indeed. Let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of those wastepaper baskets. I sincerely hope only for your work. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from the 3 days ago. 3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London, then, when I was still aboard myself. Required to assemble on the main deck at 10 p.m. in order to evacuate the drill. Ah, yes, there was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. This is a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Okay, I can't look at the court record here, which I guess makes sense. Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it is. Is something wrong, Shelms? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikotoba, ice! What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks. Pardon. Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrical refrigerated cold room, do you think? There it is. That's important. Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have an enormous refrigerator for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. I think the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There's nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Can I open this case? It's a very sizable chunk indeed. So it looks like all the clothes were taken out of it, right? All the clothes were removed from it, and Gregson's body put inside of it, I assume? That would implicate Jigoku as the murderer, though, perhaps. But that really wouldn't make any sense, because how could he be the Reaper? Like, he is a foreign dignitary going back and forth from, you know, Japan to other places and those kind of things. Motive-wise, he could still be upset about Genshin's, you know, everything, I guess. But it wouldn't really make sense for him to go about doing all that nonsense, would it? Seishiro is partial to all things large. A rather clumsy fellow if he failed not to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though? Sadly not. It's a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. But something's been hidden from this wall. Indeed. What have you observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed? Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. I think perhaps we should focus our attention elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. It feels like I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. Yeah, it's this. You're still here! Ah, able Seaman Stroganoff, hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You are waiting for me? Of course! I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of a trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off, now! Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there's something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the barring of the truth. Koi! I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly what the man is, even as we speak, don't you? How can you? Good gracious, Sholmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and reasoning? Nothing would please me more. What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Hell yeah. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. Da, that is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Ah, yes, of course. I see you've noted it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. Also, like, new deduction music. What in this cabin shows the possibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills, then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this show, not 3. Why, of course it has, quite. Now all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. I would think it'd be the ice, right? The fact that the ice hasn't melted.
Take that!
What? Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. Ah! It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With this well-chilled glass in hand. To mind off the refreshment show. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? Ugh. But why would Seishiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would it be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? That's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seishiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected. Well, you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. This is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Shelms, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place in here. That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba. No, quite. But life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we've all well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow. Okay, the remnants of the dark deed. So it's going to be either the mark on the wall or this. Right? Because it's not the clothes. Like, the clothes indicate that he's probably stuffed into this briefcase. But
take that!
The thing that's weird is the fact that there was a passage on the wrong side of it. Why does he tap this? It's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. You are right. When did the frame move? Only the most observant of crewmen are you, Mr. Stroganoff. I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh, dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? A gunshot. That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who has been shooting walls? I see. The projectile has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. I have the distinct impression that you are attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you are talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger? So we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Shelms. My dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it. So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides. Well, I can certainly do that. Why is he covering for someone? I mean, he has the tattoo. Gee, I wonder why.
Take that!
almost too obvious for words. Right. The universal language of the world. Money. Ah! And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes? Ha! So, I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin, and the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But, I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor. You can only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. Ah, we shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow. Where might a certain someone be hiding? Oh, definitely the bookshelf, for sure.
Take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? Ah. The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is at this very moment doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. And I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff. No! I know nothing about combination code. Sure. So why is it written on his arm? Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Huh? Oh, it doesn't say Sholmes. It's upside down. It's 5631045. Just gonna take a screenshot in case we need to do that. Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me? It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quickly now, we have little time. Okay. It's kind of it that it has the review scene button, but I am going to flex my non-existent memory abilities, right? You know how it is? And instead, use the power of screenshot. So it's upside down. So the first number is 5. Second number is... well, it should be 6, but no, I'm quite confused. It's not a 0, is it? Forward? Oh no, it's a 2. It's a 2. Then it's 3. Then 1, then 0, then 4, then 5. Five, 2, 3, 1, 0, 4, 5. Because it's written on his arm, so it would have been facing him like this when he wrote it.
Take that!
Click. That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? But I don't understand why are you hiding in the trunk. Well, Eugene, you found me now. Seishiro. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know. You're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. I mean, if he's the mark, then he can't be the Reaper. The gunshot there would explain, that he got shot here, right? So it would be Jigoku, Gregson, and Cosmo in this room. Gregson's the only one who would have had a gun, probably. Unless Jigoku's issued a firearm. Probably not. But, like, this would imply that Jigoku shot Gregson. And I don't know why he would do that. Like, what would be the reason for it, you know? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, what? I just wish it was some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Oh, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I read stories of many of your exploits. Excuse my manner, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say, your old friend and traveling companion, who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour. I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Seishiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey? Yes, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So, you decided to flee the capital, without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes. Of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. It's somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury seems to be on very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available. So I purchased a ticket and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking this cabin and seeing the evidence. Is that it? Eugene, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes the ship was set off on its voyage onward, not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Seishiro. Take it. Declaration of something, what does that say? What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You are a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this off in the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugene. Oh, he looks mad. Come on. Let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. What is that? Seishiro. I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small compartment from something. Sorry, some small component from something. What is this? Oh. It's from his watch. What? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. So Jigoku's trunk was used to transport Gregson's body, is what that means. But Jigoku doesn't know. So Jigoku was knocked out or asleep or something similar during some kind of scuffle where someone got shot in his room. That's hard to believe. Well, let us pocket as a small suit our brief sojourn in France. Yeah. No. I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. Yeah, but how are you going to get all that evidence back to me? 12:10 p.m. Kazuma Sogi. I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie. But still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict. Bullshit, motherfucker. No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. And there's going to be one conclusion. The accused is guilty. All relevant testimony. Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way, and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku? You found him? But the investigation of every policing resource in the capital suggests that Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes. Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Sogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness, who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side. No, my lord. No objections, my lord. We live to fight another day. By the skin of our teeth. We're very lucky to have Mr. Sholmes as a buddy. That's for damn sure. To be continued. And we will continue it next time. But, not today. It really is kind of nice how these, like each part and segment tends to go for, you know, roughly 2 hours or so, because it fits really well into my schedule. So, I guess there will be an investigation later on. Hold on. Thank you very much. We'll be not saving it. We'll be reading that later on. So for now, thanks for having watched. I hope you enjoyed all of the excitement. The tapping toes of Mikotoba. Did not see that one coming. But it is nice to do a little like deduction dance with someone who isn't a roto. And instead of having to do it, like Shomes goes off and then we correct and such, having it just be like, one clear thing going appropriately instead. I guess that's the benefit of having the partners together again like that. But it's quite good. Anyway, tomorrow I will very likely not be streaming. I have plans to go hang out with a friend for her birthday. Well, her birthday was yesterday technically, but we're having like a little Mario Kart party thing for her tomorrow. So I'll be with her during that time. I imagine I won't get back home until like 9:30 or maybe even later. So most likely won't be streaming anything. But Friday probably will. I was playing some Splatoon yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Just on my own, not on stream or anything like that. And look how close I was. Good guys, 48.5. Bad guys, 48.9. I was so damn close. But also kept getting matched up against people who were like way above my league. And they were just like absolutely dominating my face off. It was very depressing. Out of like 10 matches, I won one. I was like, oh man, I know I don't play this game that often, but still. It was really close, most of the matches. Anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your night, rest of your evening, whatever day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you all on Friday. So have a good one, and bye for now.